Using bright colors, large sizes, organic contour, and deliberate placement, Mexican street art demands the attention of passersby.
Often painted on public walls, this art form offers a unique perspective where the city itself becomes a medium and immerses the viewer into a visual experience.
One can only imagine the time, planning, and labor that goes into bringing a mural to life. In each piece, you see elements of history and culture, and though the artist is often unknown, their message has the ability to transcend the masses. In addition to superficial beauty, lies a rich history of social protest stemming from the Mexican Revolution and the pursuit of agricultural and labor reform. Out of the struggle to constitutionalize, many voices went unheard. 3 leading artists found a way to communicate for the people with underlying themes of communism. David Siqueiros, Diego Rivera, and José Clemente Orozco grew notorious for their fresco murals, then carried their work internationally into the United States.
2 of the aforementioned artists' most coveted murals can be found in institutions. Rivera painted the liberated earth with the natural forces controlled by man for Universidad Autónoma de Chapingo in 1926, and José Orozco completed Prometheus for the American institution Pomona College in 1930. At a glance, the 2 murals have many differences: a calm, soothing image in Rivera's and a fiery, active scene in Orozco's. But if you look closely, both have incorporated the mythological being Prometheus into the final piece. Who is this blazing figure, and how does he relate to the overall message? To understand the significance, we must first look at the legendary story of the Titan who brought fire to man. According to legend, Prometheus was a Titan turned defector after he sided with Zeus in the War of the Titans. For their newfound allegiance, he and his brother, Epimetheus, were granted the task of creating mankind by the gods. The name Prometheus means forethought, while his brother's name means afterthought, and this came to show in their processes for creation, which led to the separate genera of man versus animal. Epimetheus created his beings first, and like a kid in a candy store, he used up all the desired qualities of feathers, fur, colors, swiftness, courage, and strength, then leaving very little for Prometheus. Prometheus did not fret, because though his forms would lack the intensity of the animals, he knew how to make his creation superior. Modeled after the gods, man was created with a more modest shape and an upright stance. Prometheus knew his modest figures could not compete with the beast of his brothers and had to give his creatures a chance for survival. It was then that he went up to the heavens and lit his torch with the sun, then came down to bring fire to man. This act gave man protection, guidance, and wisdom, the ultimate advantage in evolution.
Going back to our 2 frescoes, let's compare and contrast their features. So both have the image of Prometheus, a similar color palette of complementary blue and orange hues, and of course these beautiful archways. In Rivera's, you have a series of rounded barrel arches, and that matches the traditional Mexican style of his curvaceous forms. In Orozco's, you have a triangular pointed arch, and that really works well with his harsh brushstrokes. In a quote from the 1905 journal article, The Art of Mural Painting, and as architecture may be called the music that is frozen, the decoration is the music that is throbbing and palpitating with life through its rhythmic harmony. So in our case, the architecture sets the framework for the overall feel of each painting and can either induce calm like Rivera's or arouse action like Orozco's. If we look at scale and proportion, both murals have a massive central figure. In Orozco's, it's Prometheus himself, and in Rivera's, it's this pregnant woman. Both characters have their hands raised up towards the heavens, but in a very different manner. The woman holding her hand up is in a peaceful fashion, while Prometheus is grabbing or shielding from up above with an expression of purpose. In both of the paintings, there is asymmetrical balance. Though very close to being perfectly symmetrical, you have the figure blowing the wind in Rivera's and Prometheus' head in Orozco's, which do not make it completely symmetrical, but very close. Now I want to dive into each piece to relate the mythos to the overall message as a whole.
In the liberated Earth, the main element is the pregnant woman who was literally embedded into the land. It is said that she's modeled after his wife's pregnancy to represent the fertile earth and everything the harvest can bring. You can even see the seedlings sprouting from her hand. This is a play on the elements: earth, air, water, fire. The matron represents the earth spirit, which offers healing. The element of air comes from the cherub blowing wind and means vision and innovation. The water element flows from behind the people who bring art, music, and joy. Lastly, we have the fire element, our hero, Prometheus, and he is actively handing his torch to man. So it brings us back to the title, right? You have the liberated earth with the natural forces controlled by man. So how did man come to control the natural forces? And the answer is that flame that Prometheus brought from the gods themselves. This represents the spark of passion and leadership and is what truly separates man from his animal kin. The overall tranquility of the painting comes from all of the elements working in harmony and shows that this feeling, this perfection, can be achieved when the fundamentals are aligned.
Now, in Orozco's painting, Prometheus is used in the context of the institution. The fire of the heavens is actually knowledge and education. With the physique of a Michelangelo sketch, he towers over the mud-formed men, symbolizing the strength and might it takes to achieve full educational enlightenment. So now the torch has been handed to us in the form of these two men and the message they've chosen to convey. Now, artifacts of history, the two pieces pay homage to Prometheus and still have messages that apply to the generations of today and those to come.